Your food truck is a health hazard waiting to happen. I'm calling the inspector again right now. Vincent Beaumont, owner of 3 Michelin-starred restaurants, sneered as he photographed my humble taco truck with obvious disgust. The irony was almost poetic. While he was busy trying to destroy my business, a plainclothes Michelin inspector was standing in my lunch line, about to order the $8 meal that would change everything. But the real question wasn't whether my street food would earn stars. It was whether I'd survive long enough for anyone to find out. My name is Carmen Delgado, and my food truck, Fuego Wheels, had been parked on the corner of Fifth and Madison for exactly 93 days when the war began. Every morning at 5 a.m., I'd drive my converted 1995 Chevrolet step van to the prime lunch spot in the financial district, set up my portable kitchen, and prepare for the breakfast rush. Every morning at 7 a.m., like clockwork, Vincent Beaumont would storm out of his restaurant Lumière to document what he called violations. This is the 8th health inspection this month. Officer Patricia Wong from the health department said apologetically as she climbed into my truck. "I'm sorry, Carmen. We both know these complaints are harassment, but I have to follow up on every call." I handed her my meticulously maintained logs while continuing to prep vegetables. "I understand, Patricia. Temperature logs are in the blue binder, cleaning schedules in the red. Would you like some breakfast when you're done?" "On the house, as usual." She smiled despite herself. "You know that could be seen as bribery. It's a breakfast burrito for someone who has to wake up early because a bitter man can't stand competition. Call it hazard pay." Through my service window, I could see Vincent standing with his arms crossed, flanked by his sous chef and restaurant manager. Lumière occupied the entire ground floor of the Meridian building, 20,000 square feet of marble, crystal, and ego. My truck occupied a legal parking space that happened to be visible from his floor-to-ceiling windows. The real problem had started 3 months ago when the Meridian building's executive assistant, Malik, posted on Instagram. "Why pay $47 for Lumière's truffle omelet when Fuego's breakfast tacos are better at $8? Hashtag sorry not sorry, hashtag street food wins." The post went viral. Suddenly, my line stretched around the block while Lumière's breakfast service dwindled. Vincent had tried everything: complaints to the city council, petitions from concerned citizens, all surprisingly written in the same handwriting, and now these daily health inspections. "All clear as always," Patricia announced, signing off on her tablet. "Your truck is cleaner than most hospital operating rooms. I'll take that burrito now." As she left with her breakfast, the lunch crowd began forming. Investment bankers in $3,000 suits stood next to construction workers, all united by their love of my food. I'd trained at the Culinary Institute before life derailed my restaurant dreams. My daughter Elena's cancer diagnosis had drained every penny of savings and then some. The food truck had been my comeback, a way to cook without the massive overhead of a brick-and-mortar restaurant. 3 al pastor, 2 carnitas, 1 veggie. I called out, working with the efficiency that comes from thousands of hours of practice. My 2 employees, Diego and Maria, moved in synchronized perfection, assembling orders while I managed the flat top and fryer. That's when I noticed her. She stood out not because of what she wore, business casual, unremarkable, but because of how she observed. While others checked phones or chatted, she watched everything. The way I seasoned the meat. How Diego charred the tortillas just so. The precision with which Maria plated each order. "What would you recommend?" she asked when she reached the window. "First time?" She nodded. "Then you need the Fuego special. 3 tacos, al pastor, cochinita pibil, and barbacoa. Made the way my grandmother taught me in Oaxaca, with a few innovations of my own." Innovations. Her pen appeared, making notes in a small leather notebook. "The al pastor has a pineapple habanero glaze I developed. The cochinita pibil uses a 60-hour marinade with citrus from a specific orchard in Yucatan. And the barbacoa." I smiled. "That's my secret. 7 different chilies, including one that only grows in my cousin's garden in Mexico." She ordered one of everything on the menu. As I prepared her order, Vincent appeared at my window. "You're parked 6 inches over the line. I'm calling parking enforcement." "Good morning to you too, Vincent," I said pleasantly, continuing to work. "I'm actually 7 inches inside the line." I measured. "Would you like a taco?" "My treat." His face purpled. "I don't eat garbage." "That's a shame. Your sous chef seemed to enjoy them last week." Didn't recognize him without his whites, but the Lumière logo tattoo on his wrist gave him away. Vincent spun around to glare at his sous chef, who suddenly found the sidewalk fascinating. The mysterious woman watched this exchange with interest, making more notes. The lunch rush continued. I lost sight of her in the crowd, but noticed she'd found a spot at one of the nearby picnic tables, methodically working through her order. Each bite was followed by more notes. At 2 p.m., as we began closing procedures, she returned. I'd like to order dinner, she said. We close at 2:30. Lunch service only. I'll pay triple. Something in her tone made me pause. Why? Because I've eaten at every significant restaurant in this city, and I've never tasted anything quite like your barbacoa. I need to understand it better. I studied her carefully. Food critics had visited before, usually obvious in their attempts to be incognito. This woman was different. Tell you what, I said. Come back at 4 p.m. Not for service, but I'll be prepping tomorrow's meat. I'll show you the process. She smiled, the first real emotion she'd shown. I'll be here. Vincent must have been watching, because within minutes of her leaving, he was back. You can't conduct private dining from a food truck. That's a violation of your permit. I'm not serving. I'm meal prepping. Unless watching me cook is illegal now. We'll see what the city council says about that. He stormed off, phone already at his ear. At 4 p.m. sharp, the woman returned. I was alone, Diego and Maria having finished their shifts. I'm Carmen, I said, extending a sauce-covered hand before thinking better of it. Simone, she replied. May I? She gestured to the truck's entrance. I'd never let a customer inside my kitchen, but something about her felt right. Sure. For the next 2 hours, I showed her everything. The way I toasted whole chilies until their oils released. How I ground them with chocolate and 17 other spices. The specific temperature for braising that turned tough beef into silk. This spice blend, she said, inhaling deeply. There's something I can't identify. Hoja Santa, I said. Sacred leaf. Most people have never heard of it. She made more notes. Where did you train? CIA, but dropped out when Elena got sick. My real education came from my grandmother and a lifetime of necessity. Necessity? I shrugged. When your daughter needs chemotherapy and your health insurance laughs at you, you learn to make magic with cheap ingredients. Every dollar saved on food was $1 toward treatment. Is she? 5 years cancer-free. Starting college next fall. I couldn't keep the pride from my voice. Simone watched me season the next batch of meat. Why a truck? With skills like yours, any restaurant would hire you. Would they? I'm 45, no formal credentials, with a 10-year gap in my resume. Plus, I like this. No pretense, no politics. Just good food for people who appreciate it. And Vincent Beaumont? I laughed. Vincent thinks cooking is about impressing people. I think it's about feeding them. We were bound to clash. She stayed until I finished prep, asking detailed questions about techniques, suppliers, and philosophy. When she left, she handed me a card with only her first name and a phone number. Thank you for the education, she said. I'll see you again soon. The next morning, Vincent escalated. He'd hired protesters, obvious actors holding signs reading "Food trucks kill restaurants" and "Unsafe, unsanitary, unwanted." They blocked my customers while he filmed for social media. This is a public sidewalk, I told the lead protester calmly. You're interfering with legal commerce. We have a right to protest, he declared, reading from what was clearly a script. Officer Martinez from the local precinct arrived within minutes. Mr. Beaumont, he sighed. We've discussed this. You can't hire people to block competitors. They're concerned citizens. Vincent protested. Concerned citizens who all happen to be represented by the same talent agency? Martinez showed him a printout. They posted about this gig on Instagram. $20 an hour to protest a taco truck. Really? The protesters scattered. Vincent retreated to his restaurant, but not before promising, "This isn't over." He was right. That afternoon, a city inspector arrived with documentation claiming my truck exceeded noise ordinances. Then a fire marshal about supposed propane violations. Each found nothing wrong, but each inspection took time, disrupting service and frustrating customers. He's going to wear you down, Patricia warned during her 4th visit of the week. Vincent has connections in deep pockets. I have stubborn and good tacos, I replied. Let's see which wins. The war continued for 2 weeks. Every day brought new challenges. Mysterious parking tickets, fake Yelp reviews, even someone spreading rumors that I'd been shut down for rats, particularly creative since my truck had never had so much as an ant. Through it all, Simone returned daily, trying different combinations, asking questions, making notes. She never complained about the delays or disruptions. Then came the morning that changed everything. I arrived at 5 a.m. to find my truck vandalized. Someone had spray-painted, "Go back to where you came from," across the side. I stood there, key in hand, feeling all the fight drain out of me. Not because of the paint, that could be fixed, but because after everything, this felt like too much. Elena's college tuition was due soon. Every day of lost business hurt. Maybe it was time to find a different corner, a different neighborhood, somewhere Vincent couldn't reach. "Ms. Delgado?" I turned to find a man in a suit, definitely a lawyer. My client would like to press charges for defamation and harassment. He handed me a thick envelope. "She's also arranged for a detail crew to restore your truck immediately." "Your client?" He smiled. "She prefers to remain anonymous for now, but she wanted me to give you this." Inside the envelope was a business card. Not Simone's simple one from before, but an embossed card reading, "Simone Dubois, Director, Michelin Guide North America." My legs nearly gave out. She also asked me to tell you that the guide's decision was made 2 weeks ago, before any of this vandalism. "Your rating is based solely on your food and service." He paused. "Congratulations on your 3 stars, Ms. Delgado. You're the first food truck in history to receive them." I stared at the card, then at my vandalized truck, then back at the card. 3 stars? But that's exceptional cuisine worth a special journey, he quoted. "Ms. Dubois was particularly impressed by your barbacoa. She said it reminded her why she fell in love with food in the first place." Within an hour, my truck was surrounded by news vans. The detail crew worked around them, transforming the hate into a beautiful mural of Oaxacan designs. Vincent watched from his window, his face a study in disbelief. The official Michelin announcement came at noon. Social media exploded. By 12:30, my line stretched 3 blocks. By 1 p.m., someone had started a GoFundMe for Elena's college fund that raised $50,000 in an hour. Vincent appeared at 2 p.m. as we sold our last taco to the city's mayor. "This is impossible," he said quietly. "It's a food truck. You don't even have proper plating." "No," I agreed. "I have paper plates and real food." Turns out that's enough. He stood there for a long moment, his empire of crystal and marble suddenly seeming as fragile as spun sugar. Then, without another word, he turned and walked back to his restaurant. Simone appeared as we closed, her first visit since the announcement. "Thank you," I said simply. "For what?" "I just ate tacos and took notes. You're the one who created something extraordinary." "Why the secrecy?" "The false name." She smiled. "Would you have cooked differently if you'd known? Would you have turned your truck into something it wasn't, trying to impress me?" I considered this. "Probably. Exactly. The best meals of my career have been in places like this. A grandmother's kitchen in Lyon. A street vendor in Bangkok. Now a food truck in downtown." She paused. "Vincent Beaumont has technical skill, but he cooks for his ego. You cook from your soul. That's the difference between good food and great art." 6 months later, Fuego Wheels still parks at Fifth and Madison. The line still stretches around the block, now including tourists from around the world. Elena's college is fully funded, and I've hired 5 more employees to handle the demand. Vincent's Lumière closed after 3 months. The last I heard, he was consulting for a chain restaurant in Las Vegas. I never expanded beyond the truck, despite countless offers. Every morning, I still arrive at 5 a.m., prep my ingredients, and serve anyone willing to wait in line. The only difference is the small Michelin plaque bolted inside my service window. 3 stars that prove sometimes the best revenge isn't just served cold. Sometimes it's served at exactly the right temperature, with homemade tortillas and a 60-hour marinade, from a truck that refused to be driven away. And every time I see Simone in line, she still comes weekly, she orders the same thing. "One of everything, please." I'm still trying to understand that barbacoa. Some secrets I've learned are worth keeping, even from Michelin directors. Especially when they keep coming back, hoping to solve the mystery, one perfect taco at a time.